Welcome to NFL Fantasy Matchup Week 11. I know we missed Week 10 already. Tommy and Jed are in Chicago. Hey, we've had a couple of weeks off, but we're back.
It's good to be back.
Yeah. Mark Andrews, we're watching the Cincinnati Bengals and Baltimore Ravens. Mark Andrews is out. Did you see that, Jed?
No, I didn't see that. I've got him in 2 on my teams. That really hurts. Oh, man.
Yeah, he's out for the remainder. He limped off the locker room. At first, they said that maybe he might come back, but then they just ruled him out for the remainder of the game. So he's getting x-rays right now.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an ankle injury. So hopefully it's not a severe or a high ankle sprain or something that keeps it out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. Anyways, Jed, you have him in how many leagues?
2 of my 4. I got him. So
do you have any backup? Good thing, because I had Trey McBride in the leagues that had Mark Andrews, and I almost dumped him. Actually, I need to check my waiver wire here in a little bit. I need to make sure that I don't dump Trey McBride.
Yeah, I'm lucky in one. Remember, I told you guys last week in one league I picked up Sam Laporta because a player dropped him because he was on bye. So that's perfect. He can. I know. That was
Laporta.
I know. I was talking to him about it. He couldn't decide. In that league, we only have a 3 bench, and he couldn't decide who to let go. And he So anyway.
Hey guys, we missed last week, but let's start off by saying, CJ Stroud, everyone's been talking about him for either Rookie of the Year, but also MVP. You guys think he's that good?
No. I don't think MVP. Yeah. I think Rookie of the Year makes a lot of sense, but MVP, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Now, with that said, he's been very good, very mature, does not pick in a pocket. Now, the one thing is a lot of times he still hovers around 19, 20. He will not get to 30 points because he doesn't have any running capabilities. But at the same time, as a rookie, he makes very good decisions.
And look at the 3 receivers, right? Noah Brown, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, even Devin Singletary last week did really well. So he's not MVP. I don't think he's MVP, but
he's not even pretty well 5 in quarterbacks. If you look at total points for the season, he's right around 6 or 7 or 8, but he's not even top 5. So I don't think you can talk about MVP. But
is he a starter though? He is a week every week starter.
Oh yeah, he's an every week starter for sure.
Yeah.
But I think the other interesting one you got to talk about is Josh Dobbs. Josh Dobbs, actually, just look at it, total points. Josh Dobbs is top 10, and he's like a lot of waiver wires. You can pick up Josh Dobbs now.
Oh, I've officially replaced him in the leagues that I have Trevor Lawrence. I've replaced him with Josh Dobbs.
Yep, good. I was just gonna say you can drop Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is, especially in our dynasty, he has been killing me.
Yeah,
for a guy who we thought was going to be one of the top quarterbacks, at least in that second tier we talked about. Him and Justin Fields has been. I mean, Fields has been out, but Trevor Lawrence has been a disappointment.
Yeah, big time. And then together with that, Calvin Ridley. So it's been basically the only jag has been ETN. ETN has been pretty solid.
No, Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk has actually been pretty good.
Yeah,
I would say he's become number 1 wide receiver for them. Yeah. See, I've been trying to trade. Look, I've been trying to get rid of Chris Godwin. Now we'll talk about players we want to get rid of. I've been trying to trade Tommy for Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley stinks. I'm willing to take Calvin Ridley for Godwin. That's how desperate I am to get rid of Godwin right now, but he won't do it.
Yeah.
So,
Chad. Chris Godwin a lot of times averages 9 to 10 points all the time. Calvin Ridley at least even has potential as a number 1 wide receiver, but when Michael Evans there, Chris Godwin with Baker Mayfield, he's not going to get anything done. And so Jimmy keeps telling me, well, he's gotten better. No, he hasn't. He's 9 to 10 points every single week.
Hey, quick question before we start talking about news and notes and also looking through some games. We missed last week. Last week was midpoint of the fantasy season. Who's your fantasy MVP this year?
First half of the season or total year?
First half of the season. Who's your fantasy MVP?
I mean, I still think McCaffrey, has been, if you look at point totals and such, he's been right up there. It was going to be Tyreek Hill for a while, but he had a down couple of weeks. But I think McCaffrey has been the one that's been so consistent.
Yeah. Tom, how about you? Fantasy MVP for the first half of the year.
Now, if you ask me who my fantasy for MVP year is, Puka Nacua has been the fantasy MVP. But in terms of, let's see, man, get back to me. I got to think through it because a lot of times I like to say Christian McCaffrey, but I feel like there's somebody better who has stood out every single week.
Looking at total points, so just Yahoo points, other than quarterbacks, McCaffrey is number 1. Tyreek Hill is number 2. Number 3 is really surprising. Number 3 and 4, AJ Brown and then Keenan Allen. AJ Brown and Keenan Allen are.
No, I thought Tommy was going to say Keenan Allen because like last week, Tommy scored like almost 200 fantasy because of Keenan Allen.
But the problem with Keenan Allen is I've had him in a couple leagues. He does either really, really, really well, or he does really, really bad. Versus, I think AJ Brown has been consistent all year long. So I would probably say AJ Brown for me.
AJ Brown, AJ Brown's been pretty good. I will say, actually, some of the wide receivers have been doing pretty good. Like the ones who have been picked up early on. Whereas like the running backs, like the Saquon Barkleys of the world, the Tony Pollards of the world, even who's come on lately?
Tony Pollard's been terrible.
CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott. Those two have come on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, second half. We talked about that the second half, the Cowboys could come back, even though Prescott, everyone, he was getting killed for his first half. But Tony Pollard, guys, I really debated dropping the guy. He's been that bad. Yeah, he's been that bad. Like we're talking single digits pretty much every single week. Maybe like 1 or 2 weeks where he finally got double digits, but he's been terrible.
Tom, what's going on over there at the hospital? You got someone in there? Oh. The funny thing though is, did you know, or the interesting thing, the last 3 weeks, Dak Prescott has been the number 1 fantasy quarterback. CeeDee Lamb has been either 1 or 2 in terms of fantasy receiver. I think they just decided, you know what, we're not even going to invest in the running game because they haven't even tried. Yeah. They haven't even given him the ball in the red zone.
Yeah, exactly. They just finally figured out if they're gonna score points, that's what they got to do. So
Lamar's 3rd and 5, and he's not going to get it. So,
and honestly, a lot of people thought that Dak Prescott was way beyond his prime, and so he was found sitting on the waivers in a couple of leagues actually.
Yeah. Who's the player you guys are trying to dump on your fantasy team? Mine is Chris Godwin because he stinks. Unless Mike Evans is out, and I've actually been surprised how well Mike Evans has been doing, but Chris Godwin has not done anything for me.
Yeah. If I had a chance, I would pick either Dameon Pierce or Calvin Ridley. Dameon Pierce has done nothing for me this year, and Calvin Ridley has been absolutely terrible.
Pierce had one good game, didn't he? Just a couple weeks ago, didn't he have one good game?
Yeah, but he's had some terrible games. But majority of the time, it's terrible games.
I don't think Pierce is going to be the starting running back, even if he comes back. Injury. I think Devin Singletary's got it now.
Oh no, that's what it was. Singletary had a really good game.
Yeah,
Singletary had like a big game last time. Okay.
Literally, he's been sitting on my bench, and I just have both him and Calvin Ridley on my bench. I am waiting for Achane to come back because he's been sitting on my IR in a lot of leagues.
Yeah. How about you, Jed? Who's the player?
Yeah, I mean the guys we talked about: Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley. I've got them sitting there.
Saquon Barkley. Saquon's. Oh, you know who's really bad? Christian Watson's been really bad this year too. Yeah. All right, news and notes. Let's see. We just talked about it. Mark Andrews is out for the rest of the game. Achane is coming back. Tom, I'm sure you're playing him, right? Any doubts for this week about him?
The only reason is I may hold him for this week just to see how he does, just because I do have Nacua and all the other stuff. So I may just hold him. And let's see what happens this week. But I think he's going to be outstanding. Mostert has struggled the last couple of weeks, so I anticipate out very, very highly a lot of stuff on HL.
Okay. Jed, Kyler Murray, your old quarterback.
Oh, yeah. He looked great, man.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. Anyone who waited, if you held him, I mean, it paid off because he looked good. If you needed if you had a Trevor Lawrence, perfect. Stick in Kyler Murray. Yeah. I think for me, I've got Justin Fields coming back this week, so I'm really happy for that. So hopefully he'll pick up where he left off. But Murray is great. I would play Murray if you had him.
Yeah, Jed, that is exactly what happened. I had Trevor Lawrence sitting as my starting quarterback, but I picked up Kyler Murray, and he's been at IR. So now at the same time, I'm going to keep Trevor Lawrence, but I'm sitting there literally playing Kyler Murray beginning this week.
Yeah. Kyler Murray or Justin Fields for you guys?
Kyler Murray.
I might play Kyler Murray just because I don't know. They might ease Fields back in. I don't know, where he's at. But Kyler Murray looked great. They had and remember, they're basically showcasing him, right? If there's anything that they can get out of him, that's what they want. So
I don't know. I used to think they were showcasing him. I don't know. I think the more they keep winning, they're not going to be up there to get one of those Drake May or what's his name, the other guy. But I don't think they're
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Caleb Williams. I mean, they might actually try to win with Kyler Murray. So, Trey McBride looks good, though. Have you guys looked at him as a tight end? He's good. All right. Tom, what about the Texans wide receivers? Do you like them? Tank Dell, Nico Collins, as well as Noah Brown?
You know what? Noah Brown has surprised me because he's came out of nowhere to play really, really well. But at the same time, I still think at the end of the day, it'll be Tank Dell as a wide receiver to own. So definitely Tank Dell. I am all in. But Noah Brown, let's give him a couple weeks to see if he ascends past Nico Collins.
Yeah, I missed out on Dell. I tried to get him, but somebody offered $30. I was like, that was too much for me, so I didn't get him. But yeah, I agree. I like Tank Dell. I like CJ Stroud. That whole offense has been clicking.
I've actually been surprised how well the Houston offense has done, because remember when we looked at it, CJ Stroud really was like the third quarterback out of Richardson, Young, and Stroud, right? And he's become like the favorite to be rookie of the year this year.
Oh yeah. Some of the game against Carolina, that was a great game. I watched that one. That was a lot of fun to watch. He's looked good. I mean, just very poised, like always looks the same. Yeah. Doesn't look like, it's too big for him.
And at the same time, as we've talked about with Bryce Young, keep losing because that's the number one draft pick for us. Keep losing. We're going to get Marvin Harrison Jr. And also, Jim, if you don't mind me saying, look at the running backs for the Carolina Panthers. How bad are those guys?
Yeah. By the way, Tom, Keenan Allen was out of practice, but he returned to practice today. So there was some speculation that maybe he may not play, but he'll be playing this week.
And you know how I was saying that Tony Pollard, I'm sitting him. I'm actually playing Kareem Hunt over Tony Pollard this week.
Really?
Yeah.
No. I don't think you can give up. I don't think you can give up on Kareem on Tony Pollard. That
so bad though. And Kareem Hunt, he's been scoring touchdowns, man.
Yeah. Hey, what do you think, Jed? What do you think about the Bears running back? Who you got? Herbert's coming back. Are you going to choose Herbert? You're going to choose Foreman. You're going to choose Roschon Johnson.
I like Foreman just because of the goal line carries. Yeah, that's a tough call though. That's really a tough one, actually. I think there's going to be a little bit of a timeshare, so that's the problem.
Yeah, I don't know. You think the Bears can beat Detroit this week?
No chance. Detroit has looked good, man. Yeah.
I mean, Jared Goff has actually done really well.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say he's an MVP candidate, but I've been impressed by Jared Goff.
Well, and David Montgomery is definitely one of your surprise stories. I mean, everyone expected him to be in the top 20, but he's been solid top 10.
Yeah.
Other than the games he missed because of injury, he's a big part of why the Lions look really good this year. Yeah. So the Lions are, I'm excited for the Lions. I mean, it's hard to be sad for them. They're like the Cubs of the NFL.
Yeah. Hey, Jed, do you know who's been carrying me? Amon-Ra St. Brown. You know what, Jim? I take this back. Amon-Ra St. Brown has been my MVP because week in, week out, he just does it every single week.
I mean, honestly, if you had Amon-Ra St. Brown and also A.J. Brown as your wide receivers, you're set, right? Yeah. Like you would have a stud.
Yeah, my one league, I've got Tyreek Hill and Keenan Allen, and that's been a great combo. It's been carrying me a lot. So,
third and four.
The reason why I look distracted is I'm literally sitting here at the hospital and recording this thing, and it's the cafeteria, and the whole entire cafeteria is completely empty. But then these two guys decide to sit right next to me, and they start talking. I'm sitting there, of all the place, why are you sitting next to me?
That's like, have you ever been in a parking lot and you're like sitting in the car waiting, and that if that happens, like you're the only car, and then somebody parks right next to you. It's like, come on.
Yeah. Or if you're a urinal and the entire washroom is empty and the guy stands next to you and you're sitting there, what is this?
Okay, that's totally wrong. That's definitely like inappropriate.
Hey guys, Justin Jefferson, limited practice this week. You think this is the week where he finally comes back?
You know what? I think a lot of times just because Josh Dobbs has been doing so well, he has to the point where if he continues to do this well, they are so letting Kirk Cousins walk because he is so much cheaper. And I think a lot of times, I think Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, the only one that stinks is Alexander Madison.
Yeah. They were making fun of Cleveland because did you know that Dobbs started the year on Cleveland's bench? They dumped him and he went to Arizona. And then when Kyler came back, Dobbs went to Minnesota. But technically, instead of PJ Walker or whoever they have right now, Dobbs could have been their starting quarterback.
Wow.
Yeah. So they were making fun of him because they just said, "Is Deshaun Watson done?" Because he's out for the year. Is the days of Deshaun Watson being one of the top tier quarterbacks done?
Hey, Watson that has been a big surprise. I did not honestly. I mean, you guys know I don't like him, but I thought he still could play. But boy, he's not looked good. So that's interesting.
Yeah. And at the same time, with Deshaun Watson, he's currently been paid $92 million. And he's only been playing 12 games, right, in the last couple of years. That's $7.7 million per game that he's been playing.
Yeah, Alexander Madison did not practice, and so most likely they're saying Ty Chandler, who's available on most people's waiver wire. Ty Chandler is going to be the starting running back for this week.
Man, I was really hoping Cam Akers would emerge, but ever since his injury, I am so disappointed because that was Cam Akers. I thought actually he would do really well in that team.
I think if Cam Akers was not injured, he would be the starting running back, and actually I can see him doing pretty good. So they're at the red zone right now. Let's see if they're going to score.
Joe Mixon, I bet you they're going to pass to Joe Mixon for a touchdown.
Yeah, they just got a reception, but I'm sure it's going to be Joe Mixon. Okay, one last one. Puka Nacua is back and ready to practice, and then Kyron Williams is coming back as well too.
He's coming back this week.
Wait.
Oh, by the way, receiving touchdown.
Week 12.
Receiving touchdown to who?
By Joe Mixon. Burrows to Joe.
Ah, you called it.
Yeah.
Nice.
They love Joe Mixon down at the red zone.
Yeah. Jed, Kyron Williams should be coming back in week 12. All right. I need both Puka. I need Kyron Williams. I need Achane. I have had injuries up the wazoo. Those guys are sitting there because other than that, I am stuck playing Dameon Pierce or Calvin Ridley. I need those guys back and ready to go.
Yeah. Remember, this is week 11. Playoffs start in a couple of weeks. Can you imagine how fast it's going?
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Yep. 14. A lot of places like week 14 is ready to start. Week 13 even for some. You got 12.
Anyways, let's look at a couple of games. And Jed, do you have the spreads up as we're running through these games?
Yeah, I'll pull them up.
Walkie's putting. Can we talk about one person, Jim?
Yeah.
The guy I've been holding on to a bunch of leagues, but even though I dropped him a couple of leagues, Jaylen Warren. I think Jaylen Warren is good. His new role is starting running back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He is in our keeper league, and I have him sitting in our team. I can't wait to see how he does as starter.
Wait, aren't you guys surprised though? I was actually thinking that Najee Harris has actually been doing pretty well. I was surprised they made him the starting running back.
I wasn't surprised. I mean, if you looked at the stats, Warren per average carry was better than Najee Harris. And then he just gave you a little bit more of that pop. It felt like there was a little more surprise and like he could hit the home run. So I wasn't surprised.
But 2 years ago, Najee Harris was like talked about to be rookie of the year, and him now, right? Like, I felt like he was starting to come back a little bit. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised that Jaylen Warren was named starter. So, hey Tom, while you were moving, let's talk about Bears versus Lions, and I'm sure Lions are favored to win, right, Jed? But who do you like out of that running back committee from the Bears, Tom?
Not Roschon Johnson. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're stuck with Deontay Foreman, and that's even stuck at it. I think a lot of times, Aiden Hutchinson will just completely demolish the offensive line. I think he's going to have a big day. Roshan Johnson will not doing well. Maybe Deontay Foreman will probably get 40, 50 yards, but that's really about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Detroit's a 8.5-point favorite or 7.5-point favorite, so over a touchdown. So yeah, I cannot see Chicago winning this game.
Yeah. You think who's going to come out number one in the Central, Minnesota or Detroit?
Oh, Minnesota. I think Minnesota. Yeah.
Really?
They have the momentum.
Detroit. Yeah, I like Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to say Detroit, and then Minnesota might come in as a wild card or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Detroit's got a good team. They're really well balanced, especially now with Montgomery. They've got Jamar Gibbs, who I think is the number one running back now. They've got good receivers. They got Laporta. I think Detroit's got this. It's theirs to lose. Yeah. Let's see. Cards versus Texans. You guys think Kyler Murray will do it again? What's the line for that, Jed?
Texans are favored. Texans are favored by 4.5 points. Yeah, I'm taking the Cards in this one. Actually, that's I think a good place for them. It's a good place for Kyler Murray to continue to do well. It's not like Houston's defense has been like really impressive or anything. So I think this is a good spot to keep playing everybody.
Do you think we can expect something similar output from Trey McBride, their tight end?
If you need a tight end, yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. That's what I would expect and hope.
Yeah. Tom, how about you? Like with the three wide receivers, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Noah Brown, which one of them is the best that you want to play out of that group?
Tank Dell. Tank Dell is clearly Noah Brown. Oh, yeah, because it seems he has a big play capability. And a lot of times I think he will get you more points than Nico Collins. So I like a Tank Dell.
How about Devin Singletary? You think that he'll last week he scored close? He had over 170 rushing yards. Do you think he'll do it again?
No, because he's never shown it when he was in Buffalo as well too. And so a lot of times maybe he'll get one good game, but at the same time, look, I still believe that Dameon Pierce has some usage. I want to continue to see how well he does.
I don't know.
Devin Singletary over the course of his time with the Buffalo Bills did not show anything.
Remember, this might be like a Najee Harris thing, like Jaylen Warren essentially took over. Singletary's gotten it. I think he's gotten a good offense. I think they trust him. I think they're going to throw the ball to him. They need Singletary to do well for that running game.
But don't forget, Dameon Pierce really did well last year. So if you could figure out a way, because what's his name, CJ does not run. You need a run game.
Are you guys watching this game? Somebody just scored.
I was just going to switch over to it.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey.
But you know what I've been focused on? Here's why I've been watching this game is because I really want who's that running back? Keegan Mitchell. I really want that guy to do well because I think he's the next Devon Achane. But stinking Gus Edwards keeps getting all the balls this year. So.
Yeah,
I picked up Gus Edwards in one league few weeks ago. It's a good pickup.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Jim, the trade that you and I made, Jimmy and I made a trade: Jalen Hurts and Mitchell for Kyler Murray and Brandon Ayuk.
I thought that was a pretty good trade.
Yeah.
Well, it's also because I have so many running backs. So I did not want to give up Jalen Hurts, Tom, for Kyler Murray, but I had so many running backs and my wide receivers stunk because I've focused so much on running backs this year. And so Ayuk is actually pretty good. And my starting quarterback is CJ Stroud. So I was like, I could give up the Jalen Hurts as well too.
And Jed, my starting quarterback was Trevor Lawrence. So I just upgraded myself with Jalen Hurts.
By the way, did you guys know, Jed, you're number one. You're number one in our dynasty league.
Yeah, I know. It's weird because, I've just gotten kind of lucky actually.
You're number one. Tommy's number two. You actually have some it's because you got Derrick Henry has not been well, but Gus Edwards has done pretty good for you.
Yeah, I picked up Gus Edwards pretty late, so that was a good pickup.
So you're playing Tua over Justin Herbert this week, huh?
Mm-hmm. I always like Tua together with Tyreek. I like putting two of them together.
Yeah.
But Jed, as much as Gus Edwards he is such a boring player. He is so boring to watch.
Yes, that's true.
And selfishly, I think I gave up on Lamar Jackson just because Baltimore is such a boring team to cheer for.
Who'd you? Oh, for Walker. That's actually not bad. Walker did pretty good last week, but Lamar is a pretty good quarterback. So
yeah. I gave up Lamar Jackson for Walker, and then I forgot what was the other one, but Walker has been really good for me.
So Burrow, I think, just got injured. He's walking into the game right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, they haven't said it, but I'm just quickly looking at it. So they have somebody else that came out, and he's walking into the locker room. So
speaking of Burrow, you know who's been really bad for me? T. Higgins. He's been on one league. He's been terrible.
Yeah. Well, they were talking about that today too. They were just saying that Cincinnati has just not been the same without T. Higgins this year. So
yeah.
Okay, Jets versus Bills. I've been very disappointed with the quarterback for the Bills. But
Josh Allen. They just fired Ken Dorsey, his offensive coordinator. Ken Dorsey, former quarterback, and they promoted the quarterback's coach to now take over as offensive coordinator. But Josh Allen has not been doing well.
Yeah. What do you guys think, Tom? What do you think? Josh Allen and then also James Cook. So do you think there'll be a lot of changes now with the new offensive coordinator?
I hope so. Look, James Cook a lot of times he's the best running back that they have. I wish they would just give him the ball and allow him to run. So a lot of times I've been frustrated because he just doesn't get the ball regularly. And Josh Allen, a lot of times he's still Josh Allen, but at the same time, give a run game over to James Cook.
Well, I've realized that they've been really focused on throwing the ball. Last week, James Cook had close to 105 yards, but he had 2 fumbles. And after that first fumble, they took him out and they start putting Latavius Murray in there as well. But James Cook is their best running back.
You know, the Jets have a good defense. So just looking to with the betting lines, the Buffalo is a 7-point favorite, but also the over-under is really low on this. It's like 39.
Yeah.
So that means that basically they think that it's going to be a low-scoring game, and that's because of the Jets' defense. Yeah. So you got to be a little bit careful. I don't know that I'd play any of the Buffalo running backs. I think you're fine playing Josh Allen, but I wouldn't play any of the running backs.
Yeah, Josh Allen last week.
Go ahead, who has been good for me, Jed, is recently Greg Zuerlein, their kicker for the New York Jets. A lot of times people think it's the New York Jets. They don't have No, Greg Zuerlein is actually a really good kicker. So he's been giving me double-digit fantasy points every single week.
Did you guys know that Josh Allen, I'm looking at this right now, Josh Allen has thrown at least 1 interception in 6 straight games this year. Yeah. That's a lot. I'm looking at it right now. That's like 6 straight games. He's got an interception. No, the first game he had 3 interceptions. This guy.
Yeah. No, he hasn't been. He's been a little bit overhyped. He's not been the same kind of guy that he was in the past. So I don't know
what's going on with him. I mean, he's still got good receivers. He's got Diggs. He's got Gabriel Davis. He's got Dalton Kincaid. You would think that this year that he would have been pretty good.
Diggs did nothing last week. I think he only had 2-3 points last week.
I feel like what we thought Josh Allen was going to be is what we thought Dak Prescott is going to be. But in some sense, how Dak Prescott is doing is really what Josh Allen should be doing.
Yeah. No, remember a couple games into the season, I thought Dak Prescott was done. I've actually saw a lot of people dumping him or at least putting him into the bench. But look, the last 3-4 weeks, he's the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb has been amazing. Vikings versus Broncos, the 2 hottest team in the league right now. Who do you think will win?
Broncos are favored in that game. That's crazy by 2 points. So that means they basically think Minnesota is going to win because it's in Denver. But still, Minnesota should be favored in this game. I would take Minnesota all day.
Jed, you know why Denver is favored, right? Javonte Williams. That guy is coming back into form. Javonte Williams. He is back, and he's in all my lineups.
Okay.
But Russell Wilson's been pretty consistent as well too. 2 touchdowns last game, 3 touchdowns 2 games ago. He has thrown a touchdown in every single game this year. So, yeah.
Yeah. And after wide receivers, Cortland Sutton has been pretty decent. All right. Jerry Jeudy doesn't get anything, but Cortland Sutton has not been bad. And their defense, even though they got rid of Frank Clark and Randy Gregory, the Denver defense has been pretty decent.
Yeah. So who do you think is going to win, Jed? You think Vikings are going to win?
Yeah, I'm taking the Vikings all day on this one.
Tom, are you playing Javonte Williams and Cortland Sutton for this?
Yeah, of course. I just said that. Javonte Williams all day.
Hey, when we finish with football, Tommy, we gotta hear you tell us what's wrong with your NBA team, man. I thought you'd be killing us all, and how come you're not?
Oh, injuries, Jed. I have so many injuries. Oh my gosh. What Kessler is injured. Cam John, what's his name? Is actually, you know what? As you're talking, let me just bring up my team. Let me just tell you what's wrong. Like,
I'm actually, you know what?
Because you're fourth.
I'm surprised. You know, there was a part of me that regretted. We'll take a quick sidebar to basketball. There was a part of me that was regretting not picking up Wembanyama, but I was like, you know what? My team is actually decently well this year. I'm actually surprised by it.
But I'm having a lot of fun having him, though, Jimmy. He's so fun to watch because one day he'll get like 6 blocks, and then the next day he'll have 6 threes. And it's like, what other player in the NBA does that? It's like insane.
Yeah. Jed, let me tell you about my team. John Morant out. Mikal Bridges out. CJ McCollum out. Wayne Kessler out. Barrett out. Steph Curry just went out. Giannis just went out.
Yeah, it's always injuries. That's definitely the biggest thing.
Yeah, but every single week, Jokic and Doncic, every single game, they're in. The only reason those guys I survive is those guys carry me every single week.
Yeah. You know who's actually done pretty well for me? Kuzma's done well. Murray has done well for me. Banchero from Orlando has done well. And also even Shaden Sharp that Tommy told me about. He's done well for me this year.
I traded you Banchero for Kyrie Irving, right?
Yeah.
That's worked out okay.
I like Banchero. He's not bad.
Oh yeah, no. He's a good player, and especially in our keeper league, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Jason Tatum has been my stud. He's just unbelievable. Tatum. Yeah.
By the way, who scored? Have you guys been paying attention? Someone just scored in the.
But speaking of Jason Tatum, you know who's been really bad? His counterpart, Jaylen Brown, has been terrible.
Yeah. Lamar Jackson to Nelson Aguilar for the touchdown.
Oh, okay. Tom, I think you gave up on Lamar Jackson too early. Anyways, okay. Eagles versus Chiefs, Monday night game. Who do you think is going to win? I think the
Chiefs are 2.5-point favorite. That's low. That means they think Philly's going to win. Wow. That's interesting.
I actually can see Eagles. I can see the Eagles end up winning this.
Yeah.
They've got some good momentum these days. Who knew Jalen Hurts was going to be this good?
He's been solid. Really, really solid. I'm glad to see it. I mean, all the reports are he's a pretty stand-up guy, so it's good to see.
Are there any wide receivers for you guys from the Chiefs that you would play? Except maybe like even Rashee Rice has not been well, but any wide receivers out there that you're playing?
Not me. I don't like playing the Chiefs wide receivers.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, going back to Lamar Jackson, you mentioned that a lot of times I gave him up early. Look at it. He has 13 points. The game before that, he had 18 points, then 10, then 13. Then he had 39 points, then he had 19. Versus a lot of times I had CJ Stroud sitting there. I also had Kyler Murray sitting there, but I also got Kenneth Walker. So that's one of the reasons why. Because my frustration with Lamar Jackson is he has got one game or a couple games, which is really good. But the other ones, he's only okay and not very good. That's my frustration with Lamar Jackson.
Mm-hmm. So CJ Stroud been more consistent for you then?
CJ Stroud and then even Kyler Murray, and I have Josh Dobbs sitting there. I did have Trevor Lawrence, but I dumped him pretty fast.
Man, you have like that many quarterbacks on your team?
Well, because I just had Trevor Lawrence sitting there, and so now I'm trying out Dobbs, Kyler Murray, and CJ Stroud. And I'll probably start Stroud, but I want to see which other ones we'll do. And I'll probably drop the other ones.
So just so you guys know, Burrow exits the game with pain in his wrist. Jake Browning is going to take over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going in terms of what we were talking about, Jim, I'm not sure. The problem with fantasy football sometimes is you could sit there and look at total points, but I like to look at per game points because it allows me to see how much to get per game. Because sometimes you could get a game that's really good, but you may suck at all your other games.
Yeah, I think I'm really pleased with my strategy this year. I was able to kind of get some good running backs. I didn't target some of these high running backs early on. I got them mid-level, I wish I went for the Amon-Ra St. Browns and I went for A.J. Brown's a little bit more. I waited a little bit too long and I picked up guys like a Josh Allen as my quarterback. And so this year, honestly, this is one of those years where you could have waited and gotten some really good quarterbacks and some, instead of going high with Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen, because to be honest, those guys have not done too well this year.
Yeah, quarterback is pretty hard. Generally, for me, I don't think you can justify taking quarterbacks before round 3.
Mm-mm.
I think you have to wait at least round 4, round 5.
Yeah, this year. But the other thing that I learned that I think you guys might have seen, if I have a chance to pick up a good or a backup running back on my bench versus a wide receiver, I'm going after the running back because there's so many injuries to these running backs, and I want to be able to get them before anybody else does.
Because, and also going back to the conversation on quarterbacks, a lot of times, if you look at what I picked up Trevor Lawrence way back in the later rounds. He was terrible. So now I have Kyler Murray. I have Dobbs. I have CJ. Probably all of them were picked in the 13th, 14th round. So a lot of times you could probably get a lot of good value in what you're doing.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just plugging in my stuff right now. Anyways, Jed, as you're looking at the rest of the season, are there certain players that you want to try to get as we're heading into the second half in the playoffs? Is there anybody you're trying to trade for?
Not me. I mean, I don't usually tend to trade toward the end of the season.
You don't trade a lot, do you?
No, I really don't. I generally try to pick up off the free agent wire. I mean, I'll trade a 1-for-1, or a 2-for-1 back, but I rarely will trade for 2 players. I just pretty much am banking on my draft strategy and then picking up free agents.
Yeah. Do you want my Tony Pollard?
Hey. I'm always trying to trade toward I look at monitor all the last place teams and sit there and say by then they don't really care. So I'm trying to hope that they still pay attention and accept my trades. So I'm going after last place teams.
Hey, me too. You know how many times I've been going after these last place teams trying to get some players? I've been trying to get some good wide receivers from them. But here's the problem with the last place teams. It takes them forever to respond. And that's the reason why they're last place.
Yeah. Some of these guys, if I just can't either say yes, but they just stop paying attention. So it's just frustrating.
Yeah. The person. Okay, so here's a question I've been asking. The person I've been monitoring right now is Brandon Cooks from Dallas Cowboys. He's had a couple really good games. The question I've had is he going to be better than a Chris Godwin? Would you guys pick up a Cooks?
Look, Michael Gallup does not look like he's part of the rotation. At the same time, CeeDee Lamb is outstanding. Everything's going to CeeDee Lamb. You may get a really good game from Brandon Cooks. My thought is Dak Prescott can't keep it up. He's throwing 400, 500 yards. He's not able to keep it up.
Yeah. Here's the only problem. Last week, Brandon Cooks had 37 points. Week before that, he had 1 point and then 12 points. He has not scored any touchdowns this past year.
No.
So that's why for me, I was like, I'm not ready to dump a Godwin for a Brandon Cooks right now.
Yeah, and majority of the time, CeeDee Lamb's going to get all the catches a lot of times. And, I mean, Dak Prescott's been really good. Is he going to keep it up for the next 3-4 weeks? I don't know, even though they do have a soft schedule, even though they have a very good schedule coming up.
Yeah. Tom, have you given up on Adam Thielen?
No, I'm still just because he's my third wide receiver. So I'm still playing him. At the same time, who else is there to throw to? Who is there to run for? Miles Sanders? There's no one there. So I'm just gonna keep playing Adam Thielen. And it's not like Chase Young. I mean, what's his face? Young is that bad. He's decent. And so a lot of times there still will be catches. Bryce Young.
Yeah. Bryce Young. And then Jed, you've got on your dynasty league, you've got some pretty good wide receivers sitting on your bench. DJ Moore, Jordan Addison, but then you're also playing a Tyreek Hill and Brandon Ayuk this week.
Yep. Ayuk, I've really enjoyed having Ayuk. I still feel like, Ayuk is just really good value. But yeah, I like Addison too, actually, a lot. I feel like even with Justin Jefferson, if he does come back, Addison's been it's been good for me. And Dobbs' drop-off hasn't been that bad, so it's been fine. Although Dobbs really did spread it around. He didn't really seem to hone in on one guy, which is good for him.
You're playing Singletary over DJ Moore. You don't like?
Yeah, I debated if Fields is back, I might put Moore back in. But Singletary had such a good outing last week, so I was trying to chase that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Chad, can I have Jordan Addison?
Sure, make me an offer.
I would love a Jordan Addison.
I would love a Jordan Addison. I think he's actually, no one really knows what's going to happen with a Justin Jefferson. Jefferson never leaves. Jordan Addison's a good number one receiver.
Yep, I agree.
Anyways, switching topics. What do you guys think about that new Cubs manager, Craig Counsell?
Don't you guys know what I was talking about with his stance when he played? He has this weird stance where
I remember that. Yeah, I remember he was like a second baseman for the Houston Astros.
But he would swing it was almost like straight up. It's like you never saw that.
Yeah. But supposedly he's really good. I was surprised they let go of David Ross for him.
But if you have a chance to get in your mind one of the best managers, I would say go for it. $8 million, it's not bad. You know what? It's the highest manager. Go for it. If you think he's really going to be that good, and he really did do well with the Milwaukee Brewers, I say go for it.
Yeah. Rumors have it that the Cubs are pretty high in getting Ohtani. Do you think they're even gonna...
Oh, that would be great, guys. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but if they got Ohtani, I'd go to games. I'd buy an Ohtani Cubs jersey.
I don't, 100%.
Yeah. If they got Ohtani, a lot of times, hey, look, they're going to make it up in season ticket sales. They're going to make it up in Japan sales, commercials, sponsorships, all of these things. He brings money. Now, people will say, well, why can't you just save that money and go get two players? Because Ohtani, as a pitcher and a hitter, is going to make you so much money through all of the other incidentals like sponsorships and all that. It's well worth it.
Who do you guys think is the greatest Asian athlete? I mean, Ohtani's got to, Ichiro's up there for sure. Ohtani's got to be up there. Yao Ming's got to be up there.
It is not Jeremy Lin.
I think you have to put, definitely not Jeremy Lin, but I think you have to put Pacquiao up there. Pacquiao is like one of the best boxers ever.
Manny Pacquiao,
yeah.
Michelle Kwan, the ice skater.
Well, maybe.
No, you know what? Tiger Woods. I would say you would need to put Tiger Woods.
You count Tiger Woods?
Yeah, he's part Asian.
But no one sees him as that.
Or who's the guy from Seattle? The Seattle Mariners.
Ichiro.
Yes.
Ichiro.
Yeah. But I mean, I still think because Yao Ming was top 50. He made top 50 NBA. That's impressive. So, man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael Chang.
Oh, Michael Chang, that was great, but he only had that one great run. But so I think if you think about it, Ohtani really could shatter all of that. Like he could be clearly the number one.
Oh yeah, but here's the only thing I worry about Ohtani. Like that guy is pitching that ball at 100 miles per hour, right? And so between pitching and hitting, I mean, is that even sustainable? He has not finished the entire year at all.
Yeah.
So that's my only concern about a guy like Ohtani. That you're paying all of that money, and is he going to finish up the entire year? Yeah. By the way, I was watching. Speaking of Michael Chang, I was watching the pickleball tournament. I don't know if you guys seen it. It's McEnroe and Chang against Sampras.
Oh, I didn't see that.
It was actually pretty good. I was like, pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
You know, have you guys run into Michael Chang at all? So I had
I
like
had lunch with him once.
really
Chinatown in China.
how was it?
He's good. I mean, he's very short. He's very small. It was me and my friend Kenson. We met him in Chinatown, and it was like 4 of us had lunch together.
Wow. So he was, because I played tennis growing up, and when he won the French Open, it's a huge deal. So I thought, he was definitely one of my like idols. And then my dad basically, because he's a Christian, he's claimed Christian, and tried to get him as a speaker, and just had a horrible interaction with him. Like he was incredibly like just very rude and like dismissive, and we just had a really bad interaction. And so I like ever since then I was like, oh, maybe the guy like behind the scenes is not like who you see.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Are you sure it wasn't one of his assistants that was communicating? Or
possibly, but it was I don't know. It was at a time where it was just interesting. Like we had never, but Tommy, you have more interaction with this because on the Christian circuit, like his speaker demands at that time were pretty insane. Like we were just kind of shocked.
Yeah. I'm more interested about this pickle tournament with PC and John McEnroe. Which channel was it on?
You know what? It was online. I was watching it online, but I was actually intrigued by it.
Have you guys played pickleball?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
it's fun.
We have some. You play, right, Jed?
Yeah. I started playing last summer.
Oh, you should connect. I should connect you with like our friend Sam and then Steve, who's the pastor over at IC. Those guys play, and they are serious about it. Those guys play a lot.
No, I'm not that serious. Yeah. I play tennis. Yeah. Tennis is more legit than ping pong.
Anything in which I can hit a wiffle ball, I am all in. I would enjoy it.
It's like badminton and wiffle. It's actually, I like it. It's not bad, but they have like courts all over the place here in Arizona springing up. So, yeah. Okay. Anything else for week 11 before we finish up?
No.
Nope.
Good luck.
Hey, look, we have 7 more weeks of this, and technically about 5 or 6 before our playoffs begin. But between that and NBA basketball, it's pretty busy all the time watching.
Yep.
Yeah. One last question.
Yeah.
One last question is before we end. Jim Harbaugh, is he coming to the Bears?
Oh, I don't know. Do you guys want him?
I like Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh is amazing. I love that guy.
So if he comes, then we are definitely getting Marvin Harrison, right? That would be cool.
Yes. I would love a Jim Harbaugh.
If we can get a Jim Harbaugh, I would be a season ticket holder for a Jim Harbaugh.
Ooh, all right.
I would say he was my favorite quarterback. I love those days with him and Neil Anderson as the running back, Mike Tomczak. But I would love Jim Harbaugh.
But remember him when he was the coach of the 49ers? He was pretty good. Now he's a little nuts, but he's pretty good.
Well, he is getting himself in trouble all the time in Michigan. So I think it's time for him to move on. They did say Harbaugh has usually 4 or 5 years before you get tired of him and kick him out.
Yeah. But honestly, my friend Bob Dahl and I were talking about it. He says, look, Jim Harbaugh probably is doing something that all other coaches are doing. Yeah, he's just a little nutty, and he doesn't suck up to the NCAA like all the other coaches do.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing: if Jim Harbaugh was coach and they brought in like a Ron Rivera as a defensive coach, I think that would be an amazing team.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, Mike Singletary would be their defensive coordinator. Okay, maybe not.
Yeah. All right. Well, 11. Anything else?
Good seeing you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, are we recording next Friday after Thanksgiving?
Sure, up to you.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll be in Maryland, but I can do it from there.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? You're headed out of town?
Maryland, yeah. I always go to my in-laws. My in-laws are in Frederick, Maryland. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right.
See ya.
All right. See you guys.